and extend partnership with both our multilateral and bilateral partners across the globe to isolate these terrorists, defeat them, and win the war.
Responding to some questions fielded at the briefing, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, and some heads of parastatals shed light on some of the issues raised.
I want to explain that the Federal Ministry of Information designed the ministerial platform and the Good Governance Tour to complement themselves. Good Governance Tour is still on course. We have not jettisoned that at all. But
the issues were discussed effectively at the level of the Supervising Minister of Information, and we came to some agreement which led to the suspension of the strike. We're hopeful that the issues will be discussed early in the new year. The only caution that we always put on the table is that we've got to factor in the priorities of Nigeria and the challenges that Nigeria as a country is facing today, and therefore whatever we arrive at the end of the day would be what serves the interest of Nigeria the best.
Instead of just listening to our network news at the appointed times or the designated times, you'll have a dedicated network channel that will be giving you news, features, and quality radio programming at the network level across the country.
The briefing afforded the minister the opportunity to brief Nigerians on the achievements of the federal government in the year under review. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Talking security now, the Nigerian army is sustaining its presence in the recaptured towns from insurgents in the northeast. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Olajide Laleye, disclosed this while briefing the press on the activities of the service in 2014. Correspondent Mohammed Abdul Kadri reports.
Our troops have, in the last couple of months, recaptured several towns and localities previously taken by Boko Haram insurgents. These include Gombe, Hong, Uba, Makera, Mubi, Holma, and Vintim.
The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Olajide Laleye, disclosed that territories can be lost and regained in combat situations, but reassured Nigerians that no part of the country will be conceded to the insurgents. Contrary to insinuations in the media, he said the General Court-Martial trying some soldiers for various offenses in Abuja, Lagos, and Jos is backed by extant laws and will not abuse due process. On the online Sahara reporters' claims linking a serving officer to a petition, the image maker of the Nigerian army said it is untrue.
The petition, allegedly written by Lieutenant Colonel Wendy, a serving officer of the Nigerian Army, was thoroughly investigated by relevant authorities and intelligence agencies. The result confirmed that the officer was not the author of that petition.
He said the Nigerian Army will be on hand to support hitch-free 2015 elections. The image maker of the Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Olajide Laleye, reassured that the service will remain cohesive, decisive, and aggressive to stop the impunity of the criminal elements operating in the northeast and other parts of the country. From the Nigerian Army headquarters, Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
Other matters now. With barely a few hours to the commencement of the year 2015 in Nigeria, Chiazala Miki takes a look at business activities within Abuja as residents make last-minute shopping to launch into the new year.
It is the last day in the month of December 2014, and a survey around major markets in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, reveals that most people have gone to spend the holiday with their kids and kin. This was evident at the popular Wuse market. From the entrance, traders are experiencing low turnout as they wait eagerly to sell their wares. And for the few buyers, especially women, They lament hiking prices.
The price has gone up because of the Christmas and New Year. Before it was down, but now it has gone up.
Like before, I'm paying like 2,500, but for now, I'm paying like 4,000 naira.
But for Teresa Okocha, a trader, no sales can be compared to the peace experienced in Abuja.
This year's sale is so low. We didn't sell much, but with what has been happening in the country, everything is not money, but there is peace in Nigeria now, mostly in Abuja. At this season, we are so happy.
Hospitality business is also recording low patronage as they claim that most of their leads prefer to travel to other countries.
How many Nigerians are actually patronizing Obudu resorts, beaches in Badagry? How many? You see, this is one of the major problems, and I think the airlines have to also check.
2014 may have had its challenges, but Nigerians are optimistic that 2015 will be a fruitful one. Chiazalam Ekie, NTA News.
Utako Motor Park, Abuja Wednesday witnessed low turnout of passengers traveling for the New Year celebration. Chukwunonso Moore reports that motorists attributed the situation to lack of funds.
A visit to the Utako Motor Park indicates a drastic reduction in the number of passengers traveling for the New Year festivity, unlike what was experienced during the Christmas season. Motorists were seen interacting among themselves to while away time.
Honestly, it's not easy. The system is too low, too slow, no passenger. This is in the morning, major always too low. We are talking about there's no passenger. The experience today it's rather slow. There's not much of passengers. Very unusual for this period of the year.
Despite the situation, some commuters say this time of the year always presents an opportunity for them to unite with their loved ones.
As I feel happy going, be working with my family, sharing the moment of the season with them.
Yes, for the new year, to see my family and to thank God. I'm a Christian, so I wish to go to church, thank God and pray for Nigeria.
Unlike the usual rush that characterizes Utako Park during festive period, the story is different today as vehicles spend over 3 hours to get filled. Chukwunonso Moore, NTA News.
Of every year is considered by many as the longest month. This is not because the days are unusually longer, but due to some variables. Correspondent Adebola Brooklyn Sunday sought to know.
January is described as the longest month, not because it has 50 or 100 days, but because most people go into the months without adequate financial plans.
January is always long because salary for December always comes earlier.
You know that you are collecting, for instance, your salary in December. Essential things must be put in place. Necessities must be mitigated within that inflow without necessarily have to put yourself under pressure.
Some employers even pay the December salary early due to pressures from employees in order to celebrate Christmas.
A person who has collected such a money should know that no one is coming and you are not a dependent. Within that income that you have earned, you should be able to plan ahead.
I look at it because I plan ahead of what I want to do. And so January is always short for me.
To further worsen the situation, reports have it that some civil servants are yet to be paid their December salary, while some employers are owing their workers several months of their salary.
They just release August, September, October, November, December is there. How do you want the parents to pay for the children's school fees?
Retailers and business owners, on the other hand, are recording good sales and smiling to the banks.
I make profits. That's a good reason that people are doing business.
When you eat, it will not be a problem, but when you open your shop every day, you expect something. But by that time, the market is not moving like that.
The deduction from this is that the length of January is determined by your previously in the preceding months. So how long will your January be? In Abuja, Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the world over, some people believe that throughout the year, 12 months of the year, their lives are influenced by what they do at the beginning of the new year. As the year 2014 winds up, Moplang Dakok reports on what some people believe could make life better for them in 2015.
That what one does on the first day of a new year has a direct impact on the individual throughout the year. For instance, some people believe that if one starts the new year on a cheerful note, chances are high that the year will be a happy one.
You don't owe debts to enter new year, and you don't even leave what you ate left over to enter new year, had it before. And people say that you take a new resolution when you enter new year. But what I believe in all is taking a new resolution when you enter new year.
People say that when you start a year with some characters or behaviors, that's how your life will go for the year. But I don't believe that.
For some people in America, they believe that the New Year Day should start with eating fruits and food such as grapes, pork, and peas, which signifies luck. Others believe that a first visitor to your house is significant, which can either be negative or positive.
What you want to, for you to end it well, you start early. You do good so that you will end it well. That's what I believe.
Me, I don't believe with that because it will your spiritual grow. Because some people come with such from either their ancestors or they come from their, they believe in their culture.
No matter what one believes, the new year is to thank God for life and another opportunity to contribute positively to society. Moplang Dakok, NTA News.
The federal government has declared Friday the 2nd of January 2015 as public holiday to mark Eid al-Maulud celebration. Thursday, the 1st, had earlier been declared as public holiday to mark the new year. In a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Magaji Abubakar, the Minister of Interior urged Muslim faithful and all Nigerians to pray for peace and unity of the country. The minister also urged the people to engage in non-violent free activities in the runoff to the 2015 general elections. You're still with NTA International News. A reminder of the headlines. You heard the President Jonathan's achievements in the year 2014. We also told you that the Nigerian army is sustaining its presence in the recaptured towns from the insurgents. When we return, Nigeria-Canada volume of trade projection in the year 2015. And New Zealand welcomes the new year amidst celebration as others await its arrival. Stay with us.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
NTA International News.
The signing of a memorandum of understanding establishing a binational commission between Nigeria and Canada in 2012 has led to a robust bilateral relations which culminated in the signing of a trade protection agreement in 2014. Correspondent Joy Osiagu takes a look at the journey so far and the projection of the volume of trade between Nigeria and Canada in the year 2015.
Canada and Nigeria is making rapid progress as both governments see good export and investment opportunities across a wide range of sectors. Canada holds Nigeria in high esteem as it appreciates the nation's leading role in the economic community of West African states, ECOWAS. Nigeria is Canada's largest bilateral merchandise trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. Trade between both countries has increased more than threefold since the year 2007. The signing of the Memorandum of Understanding to establish a binational commission in 2012, which covers 4 major areas, created the right environment for business to flourish between both countries. Beyond the visibility of the high-profile visits is the strong structural building block which led to the signing of the Foreign Investment Protection Agreement, FIPA. It was signed by the Canadian Minister for International Development, Christian Paradis, and the Nigerian Minister of Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, on May 6, 2014 in Nigeria during the World Economic Forum.
Canada is the only country that Nigeria has that kind of agreement with. But it's a very comprehensive, rigorous trade agreement.
In the area of solar power development, a Canadian company signed a $5 billion solar power contract with the Delta State government.
We are, as a government, brought forward or launched what is called the Global Markets Action Plan, which is our agenda for economic and international trade.
The government of Canada is poised to build on the momentum of the most significant year for trade in Canadian history. In Canada, Usiago, NTA News.
From Tehran to Saudi Arabia to Jerusalem, battlefields kept changing within the Middle East in the outgoing year. Waziri Ziyano reviews some events that shaped 2014 in the most volatile region of the world.
English playwright and poet William Shakespeare described his Romeo and Juliet as the greatest tragedy because he did not live to review issues that shaped the year 2014 in the Middle East. Each passing moment of the last 365 days saw catastrophic stories of people, places, and events in search of peace. Some were written in sweat, others in tears, with most ending in a recycled orgy of bloodshed and death. In search of what is becoming an elusive search for peace in parts of the Middle East, early January saw Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zahari on a visit to Lebanon to facilitate the formation of a Lebanese unity government. With instability in Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt, Israel found itself in the crosshair of invigorated Al-Qaeda by the end of the first month of 2014. 3rd March, Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC countries recalled their ambassadors to Qatar, an act which exposed tensions between two countries jockeying for regional supremacy. By the 14th of March, pro-regime Sunni militias in Aleppo were fighting Sunni rebels, following stratification of society along class and clan lines, an act which defied the non-sectarian rift. By 2nd April, despite corruption allegations, the ruling Justice and Development Party in Turkey, AKP, triumphed in the municipal elections, embodying Tayyip Erdogan for a presidential run. Palestinians in Gaza Strip rejoiced in April after Fatah and Hamas signed a reconciliation agreement and released some prisoners with the hope that Gaza's crippling siege will come to an end. In June, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi won elections with landslide in Egypt. 17th July, the Turkish Consul General and 48 other employees were held hostage in Mosul by Islamic State, while the group used the consulate building as its headquarters. 20th July, Hamas' extensive tunnel network was revealed. It was tagged underground Gaza with hidden rockets and troops protecting the Hamas leadership. 8th of July, Israeli launched a 50-day military attack on Gaza called Operation Protective Age, in which over 2,000 lives were lost, mostly civilians. In August, countries under a U.S. coalition started airstrikes on ISIS in Iraq and Syria. In October, over 50 foreign ministers and high-ranking international diplomats converged on Cairo to raise money for the reconstruction of Gaza. Nation's pledge of $5.4 billion exceeded the targeted $4 billion envisaged. The judicial sector saw trials of former Egyptian leaders Mohamed Morsi and Hosni Mubarak, as well as sentencing of 683 to death in a mass trial within the year under review. Tragedies in the Middle East did not spare the men and women of the pen profession. Because of the 66 journalists killed, 119 kidnapped, and 167 jailed the world over in 2014, a sizable number came from the Middle East. On the whole, a thought of American, Iran, and Syrian warplanes in the same airspace bombing a common enemy was unthinkable until 2014. It was also the year ISIS became the most feared killing machine in the Middle East. It was a year when beheading posted online haunted imaginations of millions, hoping and praying for a more peaceful Nigeria, more peaceful Middle East, and more peaceful world at large. From Cairo, Egypt, Waziri Wayani, NTA News.
Turning to sports now, two countries released final list for AFCON 2015 in Equatorial Guinea as Mane Salik pulls out of Brisbane International ahead of the Australian Open. Correspondent Amanzi Marcus reports.
With just over 2 weeks to the kickoff of the Africa Cup of Nations in Equatorial Guinea, without Nigeria Super Eagles, the defending champions, South Africa have released their final list of players for the competition. Despite being a regular for Ajax and playing in the Champions League, midfielder Tulani Sorero is left out of the party, as coach Ephraim Mashaba explains there are better players. In another surprise decision, Guinea have recalled Trabzonspor of Turkey player Kevin Constant and will play in Equatorial Guinea after announcing his international retirement due to lack of resources and poor relationship with colleagues. Meanwhile, a full complement of 10 English Premier League matches will be decided on New Year Day. Stoke City, who defeated West Bromwich Albion 2-0 in Week 19, are at home against Manchester United, who played goalies with Tottenham Hotspur in their last match. Southampton played a 1-1 draw with Chelsea to move to 4th on the log in Week 19 and will fancy victory over Arsenal. Chelsea are leading the pack with 46 points from 19 matches, followed by Manchester City. Among the bottom 5 are West Bromwich Albion, Hull City, and Leicester. Barcelona have reacted to the FIFA ban on their transfer of players, saying the decision is disproportionate and excessive. Barcelona's president Jose Maria Bartomeu acknowledged errors were made, but attributed such to a conflict between the laws of FIFA and Spain. The president disclosed they will study the Court of Arbitration ruling confirming the FIFA ban and possibly appeal to a Swiss federal court.
FIFA and its president should protect the football world, but with decisions like this, they deviate from their objective. We do not feel supported or protected by those who should be doing so.
In tennis, Marin Cilic has withdrawn from the Brisbane International due to medical concerns. This means the Croatian cannot play in the first Grand Slam of the season, being the Australian Open, which begins in January. Marinko Matosevic is his replacement in Sydney. With Sports News Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
New Zealand, the first country to welcome the year 2015, celebrated as others await its arrival in other parts of the world, and a cargo ship suspected to be carrying 700 migrants arrived Italian ports after it was abandoned to crash. Details with Musa Babaliu.
It is already 1st January 2015 in New Zealand and Australia. A giant clock in Auckland counted down the minutes when fireworks erupted. People have lined up in the shore of Sydney in the preparation for the city's famous fireworks. Celebration plans have been muted in Indonesia, however, in the wake of the Air Asia flight QZ8501 crash. A cargo ship believed to be carrying around 700 migrants arrived at Italian port as the authorities had taken control of the ship, which was abandoned by its crew members. It is not clear where the ship had set off from, although there were unconfirmed reports that the ship was from Turkey. It was suspected that smugglers and human traffickers who organized the trip abandoned the ship before they reached shore to avoid arrest. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And this is about the last bulletin for you in 2014. See you next year. I am Okwe Bayang. Bye for now.